Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
It's that Louisiana boy, yeah, they call him the Riot. Born and raised in the swamps, on the fight like a tiger. He going beast mode, baby, he a beast though. What you think he supposed to do? You pitch a better reload. Get the point.
After further review, the Riot Radio Hour with Matt Moscona and Ryan Theriot.
How's your week going?
The week was good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, but good. I'm full of good ideas.
Here comes Theriot. The throw. Not in time. Scudero delivers and the Giants lead 4-3 in the 10th.
The wave pool, although probably full of bacteria, flesh-eating parasites, and the occasional turd, provides endless hours of fun. It's not cool to have a 30A sticker on the back of your grocery go-getter. Big fan of the truck.
The Riot Radio Hour.
Theriot around third. He heads for home. Here's the throw. He is safe. Tigers win.
Reload, get the point. Cause hate that.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by John Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Jordan Kitchens.
Jordan, 20-footer, head of the key. Good.
And Theriot. A little bit of a subdued one there, but we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, Rob.
Glad you're in today. You were the first call I made this morning when I heard about Skip and wanted to offer you my condolences.
Yep.
So I know you and Skip were really close. Not only we've talked plenty here about the player-coach relationship, but maybe you could say whatever you want, but maybe a good way to illustrate the relationship that you and Skip had like when your professional career was done and you moved back here. And I know in the last few years in particular, you know, with the kids and everything as well, just the relationship you and Skip had.
I mean, look, Skip's AD years were the best years of my life. I parked. I'm just going to be real with you guys. I parked directly outside of the football stadium, and I had 15 rows up on the 50-yard line.
Oh,
it was awesome.
Shortstop with the Cubs.
Hey,
Here we
listen.
go.
Oh, my guy hooked me up for sure. I mean, look, you know,
Dude, Rhino.
our relationship started, you know, when I was 5 years old. You know, we would go to the camps, obviously, and then you know, the Patrick Coogans of the world and Dan Guillory and my brother Wes and all those guys were always there, and then turned into Tigers, and then I got to hang around with them in my middle school and high school days at LSU, and then obviously played there, and you know, up to yesterday, you know, it was a lifelong relationship and friendship that changed throughout that whole process. You know, in the beginning, the guy was larger than life for me. And it was my goal. And every kid in Baton Rouge grows up wanting to wear the purple and gold and to play for that man and bring a championship here to Baton Rouge. And then, you know, it was an interesting change when I got here because, or got to LSU, because I realized that, I mean, he was a friend first.
Yeah.
You know, he would tell you when you messed up, and he would put your arm around you and tell you he loved you when you did great. Everybody's heard the hold your rope stories, the ball of trust, you know, the bent nickel, all these things. And you know, I was kind of reminiscing earlier today on Skip, just with former players and teammates and friends, and then even just by myself. And, you know, there was 3 character traits that I believe that Skip instilled on me and then every one of his other players. And it was interesting because he never said them out loud. I think first off, he was always honest. He would never told you what you wanted to hear, but he told you what you needed to hear. You know, and some people couldn't handle that. They wanted the nice stuff, but from a player standpoint, I always appreciated that. You know, and so the honesty was always there. He taught me to love my teammates more than I loved myself, to want them to have success more than I wanted to have success. And then lastly, trust. He talked a lot about trust, trusting, his process and what he was doing, but also those that were in the room. And it was weird because those three character traits, honesty, love, and trust, I don't think they ever came out of his mouth, but he portrayed that in every one of those Skip stories, that you hear. And then every meeting that we had, I can think back on those times and go, man, he was trying to get us to love each other, or he was trying to get us to trust each other, or, man, he took us out in right field and undressed us. He was telling us the truth.
Yeah.
It wasn't what we wanted to hear, but he was telling us the truth. And so, growing young men was Skip's, that was his purpose. The wins in Omaha, the records that he holds and all of that stuff, and that's a byproduct of those three character traits and pillars that he stood on. And Matt, it took me till after I was done playing and could really step back and go, man, this guy, he was a greatest college baseball coach of all time, but he would have been the greatest president of all time. He'd have been the greatest anything of all time. Like, he just could have done any of it with those three things. And from a player's perspective, I think we have unique perspectives because, we saw that stuff firsthand. Now, transitioning out of playing for him and then retiring and being able to spend time in his living room with him, I mean, you talk about blow me away. The coolest time that I ever spent with Coach Bertman was during COVID. And he and Sandy thought it'd be a good idea to get a dog. And I tell you, it was the worst idea that they could have had. Like, he was like, I know he's praying for the Therios and to come over and play with this dang dog so he didn't mess with him all day long. But, I would bring the whole family over there. We'd go on bike rides or runs or walks and go sit down in the living room with he and Miss Sandy, and this dog's running laps around there. He's pissed off. But, man, look, the wins and everything speak for themselves, and I think anybody can see that. But that guy taught me what it means to be the best teammate on the planet and to love my teammates, and now business partners, friends, family members, to trust them. And, it's a hard thing to have an honest conversation with somebody and tell them the truth. It's much easier to tell them what they want to hear. And I'm not good at that. That's one thing that I wish I could be a little bit better at. But, man, he would tell you the truth, and you were better for it after.
Why was he so smart when it came to baseball?
He didn't miss anything.
Golly, dude.
Like, he didn't. I've been around two people that have done this. Is Skip first, where he would tell me something in the dugout, and like 3 innings later, it would happen on the field.
Yeah.
Skip and Greg Maddux.
Okay.
Are the two. But Skip was always observing and paying attention, and he was intentional on the moves that he made and the things that he did. Like, nothing was just, we're going to play you here or play you there, bat you here just because you're struggling. Like, he had a purpose to everything. And so, could he see the future? Man, it sure felt like it. But he was just so prepared for the moment. It was something to watch for sure.
The whole, like, they're playing checkers while he's playing chess thing. Like, I know it's cliche because everybody says that, but that's what it felt like watching him coach baseball. And the other thing, too, man, you played for him, but it's like, dang it, bro. It just felt like it was always going to go your way. Like, it just had to.
We had a confidence that because we had 15 in the dugout, we were going to win the game. And he gave us that confidence because we were so much more prepared than the other guys. And he would tell us that too. Like, I'll never forget in 2000, our pregame speech in 2000 before we won the College World Series, he said, y'all deserve this. Like, we're winning this game because y'all have earned this. you're winning the game. The hay's in the barn. Like, y'all have done this. He didn't say it like that. He said it in his voice.
Ooh.
We're going to win.
Yeah.
Because we've already, and so you go out there with this confidence, man, and you believe that, like, you trust him. He taught us how to trust each other. We trusted him. And if Skip said it, I woke up this morning, yesterday was very weird. We got some good news at about 8. And I got some, and I stayed up late watching TV. I got some bad news at about 11:30.
You're talking about with Skip.
Yeah. And then obviously woke up, to him passing. And I just, you can be sad, but I count myself lucky, fortunate. I'm grateful. I'm thankful that I had a dream as a young man to play at LSU, a young boy, and I was able to be around that guy and consider him a friend. He called me by a nickname.
Rhino.
He called me Rhino.
Rhino.
Yeah.
So, except when he said,
yeah.
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I have my moments, bro. Like, I'll be honest, and first off, all the guys that, there's a laundry list of guys that have been just hyper involved in this and text messages and calls and all that. But I'm choosing to be happy. I'm choosing to be thankful and grateful. I'm choosing to celebrate this because the things that I just mentioned, I forgot a lot of that. Like, I had to think about that.
Yeah.
And that's like life stuff that made me who I was and who I am, that you just go through life and you forget that. Man, this is what he was trying to do. And this is why he was doing that. And in the moment, you're playing a game and then you put it to work. But when you're finished playing that game, you no longer put that to work. Well, I want to put that back to work in my life. Like, so today's actually been kind of refreshing and eye-opening for me. It's like, you know what? I'm going to revisit this, I love him, man, and he's going to be missed. This is the most influential human being, I think, for our city and maybe our state, in the last 40 years for sure, maybe longer, both economically and sports, obviously, but pride. So, yeah, I count myself lucky.
Bill Dailey coached with under Skip Bertman at LSU. He's going to join us next. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions, Glow Resources. And glowresources.com. Hey, look, if you need to hire your business owner, remember, finding the right people is ultimately what makes your business its most efficient. That's true in anything. That's true in sports. That's true in radio, media. True in agriculture. It's true in everything. You have the right people, you're going to make yourself the most efficient. You're a head coach, you hire the right coordinators, your team's going to be better. Glow Resources helps you find the right people for any job. It doesn't matter if it's skilled blue-collar labor or any type of office job. They have their professional placement division, so that's everything from an office assistant all the way up to the C-suite. Glow Resources. And they help businesses all over the country. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions, glowresources.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. The Riot Radio Hour with Matt Moscona and Ryan Theriot, presented by Alpha Customs.
Diamond. Talk to me now. Cruising down the street.
Real slow. What the fellas be yelling?
It's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Friday edition of AFR, a day where we are spending the day honoring the life, the legacy of, what do you, you just say Skip and it's sufficient.
That's it.
But
That's all you need to say. Mm-hmm.
It is interesting. I've often said you can, oftentimes you can notice the impact and the degree of notoriety or celebrity someone has if they're known by one name.
Yeah.
Like, You can go anywhere in the world and say Shaq,
Right.
and everybody knows who you're talking about. Like here, anywhere in the reaches of here, if you say Skip, like it's unmistakable. Like everybody knows who you're talking about. It's amazing. Bill Dailey was a longtime assistant under Coach Bertman here at LSU. It's good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us. Hey, Coach, it's Matt and Ryan. We're glad to have you with us today. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. I appreciate you taking some time. I know you're busy right now. Why don't you tell everybody what you're doing?
Oh, I'm just up in the woods helping a good friend of mine get ready for some deer season.
Oh, man.
Doing some stupid stuff in the heat.
Bill, when you heard the news about Coach Bertman today, what was your first thought, first reaction?
My reaction is probably a little different, Matt, because of some of the conversations I had. I was actually, there's a part of me that's really sad because I'm going to miss the conversations. But for him, I was kind of relieved because of just how hard things have been for him health-wise lately, and some of the diminished things that he's been going through, and missing his wife. I've chose not to be sad for him, because I feel like he's in a better place and he's with Miss Sandy now. And I'm choosing to remember the legacy that he had and the impact that he had on my life and other people's lives. So there's a little bit of sadness, but there's kind of some relief for him.
Sure.
And you know, I recently lost my father, and I watched a similar thing. I watched kind of, you know, how at the end you're losing things and they're kind of diminishing, and you're used to seeing people a certain way, and when they can't function the way that you're used to them, and they're the person that you remembered, you know, it's kind of hard watching them when they're going downhill. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me, because I have some relief for him, and I know that where he's at now, there's no more pain, there's no more fighting for him. He's with Miss Sandy, he's with his daughter, and so that's kind of what I'm going through today.
Sure. Condolences on the loss of your father, Bill. I didn't know that. My apologies. But
that's life marches, Matt. You know, where nobody gets out alive, baby.
You're right. We've talked a lot today about Skip the man, Skip the administrator, Skip the coach, Skip the baseball mind, the motivator. Which Skip impacted you the most?
Skip the person. See, I got to know him, and Ryan and I talked. When you're coaching with him, and you're with him every day, because I've visited with him here, you know, over the last, you know, since he got out of coaching, and the conversations that we've had, since he passed, since Miss Sandy passed. You know, like I told Ryan, I knew, I got to know Skip, the entirety of Skip. You know, we all have our great qualities. We all have things that we wish we could do better. And like I told Ryan, I was fortunate enough to know Skip, the entire person. Like I saw his greatness, I saw his flaws. He shared every aspect of his life with me, and used every aspect of his life to mentor me in my life.
You know, listen, I'm not going to ask you to share anything private, you know, obviously about those conversations, but you know, I think for me, there's two types of folks that know Skip, and it's the ones that were around him on the level that you and I were, and then it was the ones that watched his greatness from afar. What would be some of those differences? You know, like what would be some of the intimate things that you would know if you could spend that time in the locker room and in the coach's offices like that the average fan or person that was a follower of Skip would know?
One, they probably didn't know how much perspective he had on putting in and realizing that it's just a game of baseball, and how he handled wins and losses in difficult situations and keeping stuff in perspective and keeping the human aspect of it at the forefront. He loved his players. He loved his coaches. He loved his family. He loved his friends. So, you know, the fans live and die with wins and losses, and, you know, and they see the sound bites. And they probably didn't see how easy he was able to move past those things and realize it was just a game and keep the focus on making sure the kids were good. Let's keep bettering the kids, stay focused on improving the kids, teaching them how to handle difficult times. That's one of the things that I think that people that, when you're a fan, you don't get to see that intimate, and just the interest he had in the people that he dealt with every day, how much, he wanted to know about your family. He wanted to know about your relationships. He wanted to make sure you're okay. I mean, every time I talk to him, he still started how's your business doing? How are you doing? How's your wife? How's your kids?
Yeah.
And then, we talk about a million other things. That was one of them. Two, a lot of people see the driven part of Skip, and people would ask me all the time, like, it must have been hard working for him because, he's demanding, and he's the easiest guy I ever worked with or for, because everything was in the forefront. Like, you knew what the expectations were. You knew what the goals were, and then he didn't micromanage it. He turned you loose and put trust in you. You and I talked about earlier, the crystal ball of trust that he had and being able to trust people. And he treated you that way, that he trusted you to do what you needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think, the heart that he has, I mean, people get to see him, everybody knows that, he was genuinely a funny guy. He was a competitive guy, but the heart that he had and how much sometimes things, not losses, would hurt him, but things happening to his players, something bad happening to his players, knowing that one of his players or coaches was going through a difficult time. Those things are what weighed heavy on his heart, not wins and losses. He was worried about the people.
Yeah.
Bill Dailey is joining us, former Skip Bertman assistant over at LSU. Bill, we've had a lot of baseball conversations about Skip today, and as a guy who shared the dugout with him and coaches meetings and staffs, why was he so good at baseball?
He was good at baseball.
He was really good at it.
He was good at baseball.
I'll tell you, this is my first game with him. We're standing on the top step, Matt. First game I've ever coached at LSU. We're in the 9th inning, and he calls a pitch, and the pitcher's in the windup, and he starts walking out of the dugout, and he says, "Come on, let's go shake their hands." And the guy throws the pitch. Fly ball hit the left field and skips almost to home plate. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, what is this dude? What is this guy? The guy hadn't thrown the pitch yet, and you're leaving the dugout to go shake their hands. He had a sense, and he'll tell you, he had some great mentors when he was growing up, and he was around the game so much. So I'll go today. People talk about the analytics of the game, and everybody wants it. Skip had the analytics in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
He already knew. The experience of playing the game, he knew what was going to happen. He could tell what was going to happen. And when people tell you and they say, like he said in the 2nd inning, this is going to happen in the 7th inning, those things are true. He would tell you, he'd get mad. A guy would throw a pitch, and he'd just one pitch, and he's like, oh, it's going to come back and bite us in the butt in the 7th inning. And you'd look at him and you'd be like, oh, and all of a sudden you'd hit the 7th inning and then something happened. He'd say, I told you. And he just had, he had a feel for the game.
He was a time traveler.
Yeah. It's like
he had a DeLorean.
He already played the game and knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And,
man.
He probably he would have made more money. Now they got sports betting. He could have made a lot of money betting on the Tigers instead of going to the casino.
Oh, if you can do live, in-game betting, Skip would be the master.
Hey, big guy.
Yeah, he would have been able to tell you this is going to be a ball or a strike.
Yeah.
He just had a great insight into the game that way. And the other thing is, he could figure out what group of people to put together to get the most out of them. He knew how to go, this group. If I play this guy, people may not see it, but when I put these 9 guys on the field, this group will win. And he knew how to press the buttons of each individual guy. He knew how to coach a team, but also coach every individual. He knew how he had to approach each guy to get the most out of them. He knew what guys responded best to really just riding them and kicking their butt, and other guys where he would just talk to them and sit down and explain them, but he would never get on their butt hard because he knew what he needed from each guy and how to get it. And that's what I thought. He was just a master at reading people and knowing how to put the pieces together. And then the clarity of the goal, of what the goal was for the team, was put there every single day, and you had no doubt what our goal was. And he knew the game. I mean, he could teach any aspect of the game. I think that's the most underrated thing that he used to say. People just say, well, LSU's good because we get the best players. We don't really even have to coach them up. He worked hard at coaching the kids up and teaching them the game and getting the players to understand the intricacies of the game. And that part, I think, sometimes was lost in his success because people just thought he got the best players. It's LSU, they got the best players. And he got the most out of the players he had, and he taught them this is what you have to do to win, and he got them to understand what they needed to do to win.
He is former LSU assistant Bill Dailey sharing some memories on passing the legendary coach Skip Bertman. Bill, it's a pleasure. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Appreciate you guys just spending some time talking about the man. A lot of people are going to talk about him over the next couple of days. Appreciate you guys.
Yep, it's our pleasure. We'll be spending the whole show today talking about Skip Bertman. It's one of those one-topic days. It is After Further Review. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Saints had a walk through the Dome today, and they'll play the Jacksonville Jaguars tomorrow in the first preseason game. If you're going to be watching the game, you want to go grab a few cold pops, something to throw on the grill, pop on into Rouse's. Which Rouse's? Doesn't matter. I mean, they're all over the place. Got 76 of them from Lake Charles to Orange Beach and points in between. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. Okay, let me knock out a quick break, y'all. We'll come back. Ole Miss head baseball coach, former LSU catcher and assistant Mike Bianco will join us next on AFR.
AFR.
I love telling you about our friends over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness because what they do over at Goodwood is help men live their optimal life. It's all about living your most optimal life inside out. What that might mean for you is hormone replacement therapy. Maybe it's peptide therapy that can help you get to feeling your best in whatever might be ailing you. And when we talk about that, and I think, I love that we're having the conversation about peptides more. Peptides have been incredible for me. I mean, I take NAD Plus every day. It's about cellular optimization and energy levels. It's a notable difference. I mean, you feel sluggish. NAD Plus could be great for you. I told you about BPC 157. Y'all, a week ago I had surgery. I'm injecting BPC near my incision every day to help accelerate the healing process of those wounds. Maybe it's mental clarity. Maybe it's your ability to sleep at night. There's so many different ways if you want to let your body restore its natural function and maximize natural function. Peptides can help, and Goodwood can get them for you. YourGoodwood.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
We continue here on a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We did just confirm that Nick Saban's going to join the show.
Yeah.
Not a joke, really. Nick Saban's going to join us at straight up 5 o'clock Central, so in 25 minutes. Of course, Nick was hired while Joe Dean was the athletic director, but then, of course, Skip became the AD after the 01 season, and Nick's highest heights here came with Skip Bertman as the athletic director. So Nick Saban will be here in about 25 minutes from right now. A man who played for, coached under, and then later coached against.
Yeah.
Skip Bertman is Ole Miss head baseball coach Mike Bianco, who's good enough to spend a few minutes with us here. Coach, you're on with Matt and Ryan. It's a pleasure. Thanks so much for a few minutes on it's a tough day for everybody, but a day where we're celebrating the life and legacy of Skip Bertman. If I asked you, maybe the easiest word just right at the chute is maybe your first reactions whenever you heard the news this morning.
I haven't been asked that today, so I think just mixed emotions. I found out early yesterday from friends and former teammates that he went into the hospital, I guess, the evening before, and you got bits and pieces of information. But as the evening was coming, it looked not that it looked serious all the time, but it looked kind of grim going into last night, and so. I don't think it was a surprise this morning to wake up to text messages, but obviously very disappointed. And, I think we were all probably preparing for this moment, all of us that know him and love him and, have a relationship with him. But, it's never easy when it comes.
Coach, it's Ryan. Appreciate you taking some time. Yeah, you have a unique perspective. You've kind of run the gamut, man. Obviously playing and coaching with, and then coaching against Coach Bertman. What are some of the key takeaways? I mean, I know we'd probably be here all day long going through all this stuff, but I think one of the main reasons why you're so well respected and received here is because of that, and we see a lot of Skip in you. But just from your standpoint, what are some of the things that you still use today and some of the key takeaways?
Well, thanks, Ryan. And, the best compliment you could ever get is to say that, a little bit of you reminds you, of Skip. And, I think it'll be said forever. He did change college baseball, and he changed, I think, LSU. I think he changed Baton Rouge. I think he changed Louisiana, and he touched so many people. And as a player, the effect that that a coach can have, and especially a great one. But you're right. I mean, I felt it on a lot of fronts. I felt it like you did as a player. How he there's things that the way I parent, the way things I do in my life, I mirror him, his consistency, his structure, his system, as he would call it. I just about everything I do is, systematic, right? There's a reason, that you do it this way and you try to be consistent. But then, as a coach, I was so fortunate that, not only did I play under the best college baseball coach in the history of the game, but then I got to coach with him. And I got to coach with him, at a time in his career where I don't want to necessarily say that he was handing the baton off, but it was so important for him to kind of spread his wealth. He could take time after a game or, on a road trip and explain to you why things work and why things don't. And he saw things that, you just didn't see as a young coach, or maybe even as an older coach. He was a genius of the game. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. We talk about the championships. We talk about the crowds and how he changed the game. The stadiums that are here in the SEC now that would have never been built if there wasn't a Skip Bertman. But he was a great baseball coach. He was a great tactician. He loved the game, and he taught me so much as a coach. And then later, as I left and went to McNeese and then on to Ole Miss, and I would come back every other year. And I made it a point that every year that I would come back, I would go eat breakfast or lunch with him, and we'd sit down. And man, he just loved the game. My wife and I and Pete Bush, one of my former teammates, and his wife, we sat for a 4-hour lunch in Baton Rouge in January. About an hour and 15 minutes after lunch was over, I was like, "Coach, you ready?" And he goes, "Well, how about a cup of coffee?" And then next thing you know, you wake up 4 hours later. And it was, I'll never forget that day, 7 months ago. Yeah. And he still loved the game, and, he was so special to all of us.
It's when you roll lunch right into dinner, Coach.
That's it.
Why not? Hey, who's ready for appetizers?
That's right.
Mike Bianco's with us. Everyone has Skip stories. It's just the reality of living here. Either you played for him, coached with him, against him, went to the box, whatever. You got one that's a default that you always like to tell?
Oh, wow. I think one that I tell, and there's so many, there's so many, and so many that are exaggerated, as Ryan can tell you. Yeah. But this one isn't. And it goes to the heart of the matter of, he wrote a book that everything matters, everything counts, and he taught that, and instilled that to you as a player. And here's one example. It was early in my career. I'm 25, 26 years old, so I'm still thinking I'm pretty cool. I'm coaching third base. It's opening day, and I don't know what year it was, but I want to say probably around 94, 95. And they had just moved the light standards to the outside portion of Alex Box Stadium, the old Alex Box Stadium. So originally those light standards were like in the dugout.
Oh.
And so the fans that sat in the stands, that was obstruction, right? I mean, and when it built the stadium in the 1930s, nobody cared because nobody, they probably didn't have lights then, but number two is there was nobody, it didn't bother anybody because there was no people there. Well, it cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars to move these light standards outside Alex Box Stadium, make them higher, go over the old roof, as Ryan remembers, and whatnot. And this is the first game, and it's and so we come back. I'm trying to think. I'm about to go. We're home, and so it's a home game, and so I'm about to run out to coach third base in the bottom of the first, and he grabs me by the arm, and he goes, "Hey, listen, big guy." He said, "When the final out's made, don't come back over here. I want you to go up into the stands, and I want you to ask the people how they like the view." And I'm full uni, like this is in the middle of the game. And I look at him and I start to giggle like, he's surely joking. And he goes, "What the hell are you laughing about?" And I said, "Are you serious?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm serious." And so, you ask once, that's it. He's serious, and that's it. So I go coach third. And I was hoping that that inning would never end. But of course it did. And so I opened the little chain link fence or gate by third base, past the third base bleacher creatures, go up into the stands over the first base dugout. And, here I am, 26 years old, full uni, middle of the game, top of the second, it's about to start. And people are looking at me and I'm saying, "Hey, coach wants to know how's the view?" And I'm pointing down at coach and coach is waving. And again, never so embarrassed, but now I look at it, 30 years later, that's why he was great, because nobody would care, nobody would have, gave a shit about that. Like but he did. And it was important. Everything was important to him.
Everything Matters in Baseball, the book that was released a few years ago. It's a great read if anyone hasn't picked it up. A guy who lived it, Mike Bianco, as a player and assistant, and then a competitor and always a friend. It's really very much appreciated that you took a few minutes today to share with our audience a few memories of Skip. Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure. That's Mike Bianco. It's after further review. We are brought to you by Arco Power Systems, arco.com, ARCCO, arco.com. Industrial Generac generator power, that's Arco Power Systems. Remember, this is Generac power for your business. So storm comes, power goes out. What happens if your business goes offline? Don't find out. Install a Generac standby generator for your business. Arco Power Systems can help, and everything is turnkey. They can sell, service, install, and rent you that industrial Generac generator power. Arco.com, arco.com, ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com. Man, what a list already. Jeff Landry, the governor of the state, was here, who did tell us that he's ordered that all flags be flown at half staff today in the state. He has also penned a letter to the Bertman family, which I thought was a very nice gesture. Todd Walker was here. Theriot's here. Bill Dailey, Mike Bianco. Nick Saban will be with us in about 15 minutes from right now. Ron Polk will be here. Eddie Furness and Blair Barbier.
It's impressive.
Well, I think it speaks. It's Skip.
Yep.
I mean, it's Skip. It speaks to his legacy. And if you ask anyone today, do you want to talk about Skip? Who is going to say no?
Yeah.
I mean, the way he impacted everyone, even people he didn't know or didn't know him personally. I mean, it's an incredible legacy. It's why I said today in hour one, I'm not mourning today. I'm not sad today. And I didn't have the relationship with Skip like you did, but I certainly knew him on a personal level in my professional career. Again, obviously there's people who knew him far better, but I mean, this Skip's been part of all of our lives, our whole lives.
Yeah.
Man, like, it's incredible. So it's a thrill to be able to do this today and to honor Skip, even though he's not physically here anymore, man. His legacy is forever. I mean, Skip earned immortality, which is a rare thing to do for a very small percentage of people that walk the face of planet Earth. And Skip Bertman did it. And it is a cool thing today to be able to honor him. So we'll continue doing that. By the way, we'll wrap up hour number 2 here with Ask Ryan next. So if there's anything you want to ask Ryan about Skip or anything, get those questions in, and then Nick Saban will be here in 13 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, Seagoneer Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day to buy local and shop local. Guess what they got at Clegg's?
Dupledanias.
They do. But I think this will be far more interesting for you there, Mr. The Right, sir.
Okay, pumpkins.
No, sir. Not yet. We're getting close to that, though.
All right, what they got?
Pull it up, Paulie. Start prepping for the upcoming season. They got Buckbusters,
Yes.
the premium seed mix, the fall seed mix. Mobucks is there as well.
So good.
Still waiting on the deer corn. But you want to go put out your plot, you got to have this stuff, right?
You better.
You're the deer hunter out there. So
Yeah.
if you're prepping your plots for the upcoming deer season, get on by Clegg's Nursery. They got Buckbusters and Mobucks. Deer corn is on the way. They got it at any location. So buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, I don't need that. Thank you. That's you can kill it. I don't need that. Thank you. Look, thank you, Joe. Normally we do, but on this day we don't. It's good. Wrapping up hour number 2. We're glad you're with us here. Show's brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We always wrap up the hour with Ask Ryan. We'll do I'm sure most of these will be Skip related. So you can get your questions in for Theriot here. And Nick Saban will join us in 10 minutes at the top of hour number 3. Mark, hey Ryan, how was to be recruited by Skip? Was it a long process?
Man, it was no, it was very quick actually. I was not really offered ever until like I was on an official visit to Florida State and had some interest at Mississippi State and a few other places, and I think Skip got wind of that and called my house phone. My big brother was like, "Man, I think you might be too late, bro. Like he's in Tallahassee," and then I'm sure he hit him with a ooh. And then yeah, so like the next week he made an offer, and of course I signed immediately.
Jeff asked Ryan, what did Skip get on your behind the most about?
Oh man, my freshman year was rough. He got on me about pretty much everything, but never got on me about my effort. I played hard.
Greg Lehman asked Ryan, man, Skip sure was a good coach. Am I right?
Pretty good, Greg.
Pretty good, Greg.
He
pretty
was.
good. He was pretty good.
That's right.
Pretty good. Craig, hey Ryan, how was Coach helpful in your entrance to the pro draft? That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Funny enough, he told me the team that was going to draft me and the round that I was going to be drafted in before the draft even happened.
Cubs 3rd round?
Yeah.
How did he?
He didn't, because I never talked to the Cubs. He said, you're going to be drafted in 3rd round. The Cubs are probably going to take you, and you're going to have a great big league career, so just relax. I went in his office complaining my junior year because we weren't winning, playing good. And I was all pissed off, and, hey, man, I got to do something to fix this. He's like, just relax. We're going to probably lose in the Super Regional to Tulane because they're really good. And you're going to get drafted in the 3rd round. You're going to have a good big league career, and so just relax. I was like, oh, okay. And all of that happened.
Yeah. That was the 0-1 Super against Tulane down at Zephyr Field. And you have told that story before about how Skip told you were going to lose in the Supers to Tulane.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that actually happened. But that's the fact. Nothing really surprised me with Skip. It's like he had a crystal ball. It's like he was from the future. Dixon McMakin asked Ryan, what was the earliest in the game made Skip light up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was the best part of Skip, though, is he would fire up a cigar. When he got all pissed off, he'd just fire up a cigar and, like in the dugout, which was awesome. And he wore a Rolex during the game. FYI. Pretty early Dixon, probably, because I was leadoff batter most of my career. So, yeah, I probably did some stuff early.
We'll knock out a quick break. SportsCenter's coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back, greatest of all time, Nick Saban will join us to share his memories of Skip Bertman.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. My guy, Dr. Blake Williamson, he's awesome, man. Talk about it all the time. It's not just LASIK. I know many people might think you're not a candidate for LASIK, or you've been told you're not a candidate for LASIK. And look, I was in that boat for a long time. I was told, your eye changes too much. You're not a good candidate for LASIK. Well, there's a difference between having an optometrist and an ophthalmologist give you that diagnosis. So I would strongly encourage, go sit down with Dr. Blake, have that consultation. It's free, and see what options are there. And maybe you're not a candidate for LASIK. And if you're not, well, great. Well, there's Evo ICL. There's custom lens replacement. There's so many different options available at the Williamson Eye Center to where you can ditch the contacts and glasses forever. Give them a call or log on to williamsoneye.com. williamsoneye.com.